Shalom. All praises, blessings, glories, and honors to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Racha Kwadash. Double honors to my elder apostles and bishop elders of Great Millstone, who taught me this truth, as well of men of like mind. Shalom wa chasad, which means peace and mercy to the elect of the nation of Israel, when we so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelite foreigners of the seed line of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom are scattered here in America, which is Babylon the Great, and abroad. To you I say Shalom, beginning with the 144,000 prophets, and Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, willing, this lesson is edifying and informative. In the news from the RT, rejecting Russian energy costs the EU dearly, Borrell. The bloc purchased replacement fuel at higher prices that others could not pay, Brussels' top diplomat has admitted. By weaning itself off Russian energy after the start of the Ukraine conflict, the EU may have simply traded one dependency for another. The bloc's top diplomat, Joseph Borrell, has said. And the Eurozone has traded cheap Russian energy for expensive U.S. and British LNG, because the U.S., including countries like Great Britain, stood to benefit from the conflict in Europe between Ukraine and Russia, which is just simply a proxy between the U.S. and Russia. Speaking at a geopolitical summit organized by Lee Grand Continent Journal on Wednesday, Borrell admitted that while the bloc usually struggles to work out compromises on complex issues because even one member can block the process, it miraculously managed to harmonize its response to the hostilities in Ukraine quite quickly. Yip's reaction to the war against Ukraine was remarkable, drastically reducing energy dependency on Moscow, which seemed impossible, he noted, recalling that at the start of the conflict, Russian energy accounted for about 40% of the bloc's total consumption. The top diplomat said that despite Moscow's belief that this would prevent the EU from taking decisive action, this was not what happened in reality. However, he admitted that the bloc had to pay a heavy price for its energy policy. 60% of Russian exports now go to Asia, finance minister. Prices went up, as did interest rates. The economy suffered. We paid a political price. We bought a lot of gas all over the world, which really they bought a lot of gas from Britain and the U.S. We had to buy at higher prices that others could not pay. Maybe we have changed one dependency for another, but in any case, we have freed ourselves from energy dependency on Russia, he said. Ultimately, in the end, America's allies will blame America for their mishaps, their misfortunes, their struggles, according to biblical prophecy written of in Revelation 17, which, Lord is willing, we'll read after we conclude this article. In March 2022, the EU unveiled a plan to wean itself off Russian fossil fuels well before 2030 by increasing the use of renewable energy sources, reducing consumption, and finding other energy sources. The EU's initiative coincided with the bloc's push to impose unprecedented sanctions on Russia, including in the energy sector. Those measures, including the sabotage of the Nord Stream gas pipelines last autumn, which Russia claimed was orchestrated either by the US or its allies, were widely regarded to have sparked a powerful energy crisis in the bloc. Because who stood to benefit from the destruction of the pipelines? Think about it. Russian officials have repeatedly stated that the EU has never been able to achieve true energy independence, arguing that it had become addicted to the American gas while moving away from Moscow. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova also said in January that the EU is now completely dependent on the US because it has lost the freedom of choice. This is the real dependency and what Washington had been aiming for. This concludes the article. And this is why, in time, when the Lord puts an even heavier spirit on America's allies, according to biblical prophecy, will betray her because they will blame her for the detrimental conditions of their nations, including high prices due to energy inflation and so on and so forth. Revelation chapter 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns represents the EU, which thou sawest upon the beast. The beast represents the pagan Roman Empire, which came back in the form of NATO and the EU, with America being an extension of that empire. These shall hate the whore. The whore represents America, which rides upon the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, and shall make her desolate. How are they going to make America, Babylon the Great, desolate? By shooting nuclear missiles upon her. According to Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 25, the nuclear missiles are the weapons of the Lord's indignation. And the word indignation means righteous anger. And naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. That is fire from those ICBM nuclear missiles. Obadiah verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy. Con means writ. Federacy means agreement. So all the men that are currently in agreement with America, including our allies, have brought thee even to the border. What border is this referring to? In Joel, the 3rd chapter, tells us that this border is the valley of Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shaphat, which means Yahweh's judgment, which is located in the Arabian Peninsula in the Middle East. That is where the border is located. And that is where all the men of America's confederacy will bring her, including the least of the flock, which shall draw America, Babylon the Great, out into the Middle East to become a guard unto it, even as we have been seeing in process over the process of time. The least of the flock is the state of Israel. Okay. Recall also that Russia will become a guard unto Iran and the rest of its allies, according to Ezekiel 38. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevail against thee, so they will prevail against America, Babylon the Great, according to biblical prophecy written here and in Revelation 17. They that eat thy bread through traffic, which is trade, okay, by sea, also by air, but primarily by sea. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. In other words, they're going to betray America. America has no idea that eventually, in time, her allies will betray her. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him, because he does not fear Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and he is most proud. In fact, this man believes that he is like the Most High. He believes that nobody can bring him down. But eventually he will be brought down, according to Isaiah, the 14th chapter and the 13th chapter. In fact, let's get that, Lord's willing, and then conclude the lesson. Straight, quick to the point. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 19. And Babylon the Great, and Babylon, which is America, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency. The Chaldees are the Edomites, the warlocks, the magi, the wizards, the necromancers, that are all Edomites. They are the modern-day Chaldeans. Excellency shall be as when Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah through what? Fire. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there, because this land will become utterly desolate by nuclear fire, according to biblical prophecy. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. An owl shall dwell there, and satyr shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. So the days of the destruction of the Chaldees' excellency, which is America, Babylon the Great, is at hand, according to biblical prophecy, because we are living in a season of war and in the season of hate, and not of peace nor of love. The Lord is mustering the host of the battle. He's putting the pieces together for the thorough as well. But before that happens, on a complete scale, the MOTB must first be globally issued and subsequently mandated. Okay? So, with that, and by the way, the MOTB is the RFID microchip. It is also known as the NFC chip implant in Europe. It is also known as the biochip. The word bio means living or alive. Okay, chip implant. It is also known as the brain chip implant, i.e. Elon Musk's Neuralink, among others. Okay. So with that, I conclude this lesson. I would desire it has been edifying and informative to the elect. This has been another In the News, very brief, straight to the point. So with that, Lord's willing, until the next, I say shalom to the elect. And to Wadi Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Kudash for the inspiration to do this lesson.